The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we welcome you to Winning in Retirement. Here with me today is Jeff Akers, Vice President, Certified Financial Planner Practitioner. Jeff Akers. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian. Easy for you to say, practitioner. That can be a tough one.
You're making fun of me already. I'm just trying to do a great financial show. I've been trying to get ready for everything, and we have created a show I think it's going to be excellent. It's called the Surprise Proof Retirement.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Surprise Proof Retirement. So the hardest part in retirement is being ready for everything you don't plan for, all the unexpected parts. So we're going to not pretend like we plan for the unexpected, but we want to plan for the unexpected by being surprise proof.
Right. They're going to be surprises, but let's be ready for them.
Oh, we know they're coming.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't want them to come.
Well, sometimes you don't mind them coming, but sometimes you're right. You don't want them to come.
All right, so Akers Financial Group is our company. We're here in Maryland. We do have offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill. We have clients all around this area and all around the country and a few around the world. The idea of winning in retirement is helping people get ready to retire and win. People, as they get close and making sure they're ready. And then people that are in retirement, make sure they keep winning.
Right.
But what happens if you don't feel like you're winning because you had a surprise or an unexpected event occur? I want you to try to give me some ideas or thoughts of unexpected surprises that clients have experienced that you've had to help them with over the many decades of your financial career.
Yes, of my experience.
You're 3 decades now, man.
So, yeah, so there are some surprises that we don't look forward to.
Sure.
There can be the unexpected death of a spouse.
You started at the worst surprise.
I did. That's just kind of where I go.
So your story will get better.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the phone call, and someone says, "My spouse passed away. My kid passed away. Somebody passed away."
Right.
And so that's an immediate, sudden change.
Right. And it's one of those things when it happens that it just emotionally, a lot of times people kind of shut down. They just don't want to think about things.
Right.
And so by doing some planning in advance, when that happens, it's okay for that spouse to shut down a little bit because it was planned for. There's life insurance in place. The beneficiaries are taken care of. And so it's, at least financially, it's something that they don't have to worry about.
So a client of ours, when they make that phone call, what we want to be able to say to them is we have planned for the worst case scenario, and this is what the plan is. So our response is, we'll take care of you. That's what we want the response to be. Now, as a financial advisor, not all of our clients are prepared for every situation like this. We try as financial advisors to get them to follow through on everything.
Right.
And most cases, they do. We work through financial planning, get through the hard stuff so we can have the fun stuff.
Right. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but one of the things that people like to put off are the legal documents.
Yep.
Having a will. And when you need the will, it's too late to get one. A dead person can't write a will.
No, the state of Maryland does for you.
Yes, the state will do that for you.
Yeah, so the idea here, Jeff, is, okay, so we have one unexpected is someone passes away, they call. What are some more surprises that you've seen?
Well, I don't know that this is necessarily a surprise because it generally takes 9 months, but there could be a new child. Maybe you're a grandparent, and so your children are having kids, and so it's a surprise to you, but they're probably going to tell you in advance.
No, I had a client call me and say, "Hey, Brian, I just got a daughter." And I said, "Really? You're 70 years old."
How'd you do that?
And he goes, "Well, she's 35. I just found out." It's like, oh, right. So we had to figure out what to do. That was a surprise. I've never had that one before.
No, that would be a new one. So,
well, then the idea is that all kinds of things in planning, because what we're trying to do is plan for the unexpected to be ready. So imagine that when you're talking about financial planning, are we financially ready when something unexpected occurs? Things like a new child, a child calls and needs help, and they've already taken your savings because they had a problem, and you just need a little bit more. Now you got to tell somebody. You got to tell the financial advisor, Jeff Hefe or Jeff's having issues. I need to give him more money.
Yeah, Brian's giving me money.
Yeah. So if I'm doing that, we got to figure out how much we're going to give. Is it a loan? Is it a gift? What's going to happen? Right.
How are you going to do it, and where's it going to come from?
Absolutely. Or another family member, or the situation. The in my life was my father-in-law. He crashed his dirt bike on a hill, and then got medevaced into the hospital. Had broke his hip, so he was moving in with us.
Right.
That was the phone call we got from him from shock trauma. Was looks like I'll be moving in with you. Then we asked what happened.
Right. That was a surprise.
That's a surprise. Long-term care, take care of a parent situation happening on a phone call, and there was no prep. Yes, he was a very active guy at that time, riding a motorcycle through the woods.
Through the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. There are situations like losing a job. You get that, hey, you got a moment? Can I speak with you? Conversation at work, or you get a little memo given out to the older clients, people that have been at a company a long time, saying, here's your package or opportunity for a package.
Right. Now, sometimes that's a surprise that can be a good thing. Maybe you've been hoping that they'd give you a buyout, and you get a buyout. So it's a surprise one day when they give you that opportunity. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes
it's a surprise, and it's like 2 years too early, and you're like, oh, really? Right. Has to be right now? Can it be one more year from now?
Yeah. Can you wait just a little bit?
Yeah. The worst surprise I've had was a client of mine. They had the whole meeting, and I knew something was wrong, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what stories or what angles I tried, that they wouldn't open up. But at the very end, the husband just says, O'Brien, I want to tell you that I was diagnosed with cancer. And that's how he's closing out the meeting.
Oh, gosh.
Like, what? And so it's like, well, let's talk about that and what's going on. So we talked about what his immediate needs were and how they're going to take care of things. And we just talked quickly about, we've already been through the financial planning, the core things that we needed to do so that they could then invest and live their life as long as possible and enjoy and travel and do all their things, which they've done for a long time. But that conversation, the husband didn't want to tell us until the very end. So that was a surprise, and that's a hard thing to respond to, because the clients, we get to know them and like them a lot, and it's hard.
Yeah, I like it when the clients become friends, and so we care about our clients, and it's hard to hear that kind of news sometimes.
Yeah, going to their funerals, their viewings, being there for the family afterwards, those are tough. Recently, I had a family meeting with a client with her nephews. This is prior. She's not sick, not ill. She's just in her 80s, and we want to tell them that they're in charge if something happens to her, and what her expectations are going to be. Right. So that was a what we call a family meeting. We just have a sit down and go over the estate documents and go over the flow, and that they are the beneficiary, and what her wishes are, in case she mentally slowed down or whatever happens in the future.
Right, and we'll get more into the legal document side of things later on, but that's part of prepping, being ready.
Now, so the basic in finance that we want to cover here in the first quarter is this: foundational planning. What we believe the first three things people need to take care of are the following. One is be properly insured. That might be from health insurance to the liability limits on auto and home and umbrella, life insurance, disability, long-term care, making sure you have the right amount.
Yep.
The second thing is emergency fund. And I'm going to tell everyone, we like that number as you get closer to retirement to be 6 months.
Yep, 6 months of expense.
6 months to a year. The reason 6 months, because things change, things break, things cost a lot of money.
Yep.
Have you been to a mechanic without a $1,000 bill or $500 bill?
Well, yeah, if it's just an oil change, but
I think they know how much is in your checking when you walk in the door. The mechanic does, and then if you had $1,200 in your checking, they're going to say $1,200.
$1,200.
They know your number.
Yeah, they might even say 1201. Yeah, just see if you can come up with that extra dollar.
I just think they know. They know for sure. So that's the way it feels some days when you have a tire issue or whatever goes on.
Right. And even before retirement, having that money in savings can help when that conversation comes at work and they say, okay, we need to let you go. You got to have something to live on for a while.
Or my surprise call I had where my wife's calling from a mall location, and she says, someone stole her van.
Oh.
And so my wife and kids were at the mall without a way to get home. And so I'm like, it's stolen, like gone?
What do you mean?
Like you got to watch how you answer your wife in that situation. Like you don't want to sound like, did you lose it? Now, the security guards at the mall treated her that way.
Oh, that she lost it?
Yeah. Are you sure you didn't mispark it?
Right. You sure it was parked here?
And she's like, no.
Oh,
ultimately,
man.
It was stolen. And yes, we needed to use an emergency fund, the entire thing, to cover the difference between replacement value on a used car and a newer car. That was years ago, but a very traumatic moment in the life of my kids and family. But that was a surprise.
And Brian had to drive to the mall to pick them up.
Absolutely. And I remember how tough my kids were. There was like a police officer and everybody else there. My kids were pretty solid. The hard part was when they got in the car, then they started crying. It was not to that moment. And then the third thing on foundational planning is this. You have your insurance coverage, which thankfully we did. You had an emergency fund that covered the difference, and thankfully we did.
Right.
But then the pay off personal debt so that you can have foundational, you're able to survive when things aren't going well. Like if you lost your job or something else happened, you don't have all these bills you have to pay. It's overwhelming when your fixed cost because of debt is overwhelming. That's why we love to see people get out of personal debt.
Right. You can control your expenses except for those kinds of debts where it's just required. You're going to pay this or you're going to get a late notice.
Yeah. So when economics or the economy slow down, get worse, and there's job losses, the hard part is you got to be ready for things like that by having your foundation of your planning in order. And that's what we recommend as we're talking about winning in retirement. What if it's the worst case scenario? There's a surprise that hits you. You want to be surprise proof. Yep. Now, at Acres Financial Group, we're local. We're independent. We don't report to some big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We have offices in Forest Hill and Lutherville and clients all around the country and even some around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You can call us for a free consultation with one of our team of advisors by calling 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Tomorrow and forever. We'll explain when we come back.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Yes, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We're both certified financial planner practitioners at Akers Financial Group, right here in Maryland, but we work with people all around the area, around the country. It's amazing, the Zoom and other ways of communication nowadays.
Yeah, there's some folks even around the world.
Do you say folks for people around the world?
I said folks, yes.
Okay. What kind of part of southern Harford County are you from?
All right. It's actually northern Harford County, but that's beside the point.
I know. All right. So Jeff Akers and Brian Akers both went to Virginia Tech.
There we go. Southern. I
was a finance major. What was your major, Jeff?
Ended up in psychology.
Now, the psychology led you into what kind of counseling?
Marriage and family counseling.
Have you ever used that in financial planning?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the reason I bring that up is this. Our show is called Surprise Proof Retirement. Now, when you have a financial planner, CFP, who just happens to have a master's in counseling, that's a good combo when things are not going well.
Yeah, it can help sometimes.
So, I wrote a topic for this quarter, but this is more all about Jeff here.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Did I see this topic?
No, I did not write anything out. Well, because what happens is that we're trying to plan for tomorrow and forever.
Okay.
And then what happens is by doing that planning, we then have to implement that planning at some moment in time.
Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the logistics of legal documents, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then I just want to know how you do it. Like, how do you handle a phone call when someone calls in with a surprise? How do you walk somebody through whatever the situation may be?
Okay, so we're going to find out, obviously, what is the situation. Has somebody passed away? Has someone been in an accident? Is there incapacitation? That kind of thing. With most of our clients, we ask for copies of legal documents, so I know if they have a will,
right.
power of attorney.
So onboarding, when a person is just getting started with us, we ask for legal documents.
Right.
What's their response normally?
Oh, I don't have those. Or, yeah, I've got a will, but that's really, really old.
Right. And so we want to make that a priority because we want to plan as if something might happen tomorrow, but invest like we're going to live forever. We want to handle the worst case scenarios and getting the legal documents. Basically, I like to read that legal document to them and say, this is what it says. Is that what you want?
Right. And there are plenty of times where you go reading through it and they're like, oh, well, I don't really want to leave a lump sum to that child because they're not good with money. Or, oh, my personal representative, they passed away 5 years ago, so we need to update that. Right. So we want to make sure that things are current, up to date, says what you want it to say.
Right.
And so we'll help. We'll help figure out this is what you want to have happen. You're going to need to see an attorney to get this written up and legal and everything. But we'll help walk you through that process to get it to make sure that it says what you want.
Now, the wills are for people that pass away.
Right.
But what if somebody is just disabled, sick, or they want to take care of parents? What kind of documents do they need for that?
Yeah, so the durable power of attorney is something that allows another person to act on your behalf with regard to financial matters.
Sure.
Now, when you're picking a person to be your power of attorney, you got to make sure it's someone you trust because they have the authority to do things financially with your money. So you want to make sure that you've got the right person to do that. Husband and wife, usually they're going to pick one another, and then they might, if their children are old enough, they might have one of their children be a power of attorney after that. So that's for financial matters. And then for healthcare matters, there's something called a healthcare directive that just spells out, here's how I want to be taken care of. And here's who's going to give informed consent for me if I'm not able to. So you're basically picking a healthcare power of attorney as well. So those two documents, I think, are critical for everyone to have.
No matter what age, right?
Yeah, because when you're young and invincible, that's when you figure, hey, nothing's going to happen to me, and I don't need a healthcare directive or anything. And then if you're in an accident, you might really need one. Right. There have been plenty of stories over the years of folks that didn't have one, got into an accident when they were really young, and then there's a legal mess going forward.
And so what we're talking about today on winning in retirement is basically when things aren't going right, when there's a surprise. How do we make our retirement surprise proof? Now, we can't.
Right.
That's the basic answer, right? We can't make it surprise proof. So what's your thoughts?
Well, we can't make it surprise proof, but we can be prepared for surprises that come up.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. The surprise is going to happen, but are you ready for it?
Right. And so you can't design a plan for everyone. Not everyone, I mean, but every surprise possible.
Right. Yeah, because that's the definition of a surprise. You don't know what's coming.
Yeah. So what do you do to help get ready for surprises when someone's getting ready to retire? Let's say they're going to stop their job. They want to know they're okay. And everybody's always worried about income, but then they have to worry about all the unexpected.
There's more things down the road. And so the things that you mentioned in the first quarter about having the proper insurances in place, that's a big part of becoming surprise proof. Right. Because insurance is there to cover those kinds of things. I consider the first step protecting the family, and the legal documents are part of protecting the family. So that and insurance and legal documents, those are my two top priorities that they should be done for everyone.
The people who do not have proper insurance are one of the reasons when someone goes wrong, they go bankrupt.
Right.
So many of the bankruptcies in America are because people had some situation that caused them to go financially bankrupt because there was no money to basically help during an emergency. Right.
And so we used to hear on the news all the time about health care things. Something goes wrong health-wise and you didn't have proper health insurance, you'd go bankrupt. When you're in retirement, one of the things that can happen is you end up needing long-term care. And long-term care is very expensive. And the insurance for it can be expensive as well. But you've got to have a plan. If this comes up, what am I going to do about it? You have to be prepared for that surprise when it comes. Because sometimes, there might be a slow, I'll call the slow decline, where you kind of see it coming. But other times something happens. There's an accident or something, and now you need care. And how are you going to pay for that?
Right.
You might have planned all your income out, but your income's all going to be taken for your care. Well, if there's a husband and wife, okay, how's the person that doesn't need care? How are they going to live when all the money's going to taking care of the one who needs help?
Right. So when we're building a financial plan and we're building that foundation, and you're working through it, you build the savings, you make sure they have proper insurance, you try to get them out of debt so that their bills are lower. But still, let's say the person has done all that and they're a client and they have the phone call to you. Have you had a case where a client calls you, and then can you sort of walk us through how you talk to them just a little bit? So
what do you want the person calling to say?
Oh, what, me?
Yeah.
Oh, just a surprise. Some just not a desperate, terrible surprise, but let's say they need a new car. The engine broke on the car.
Okay. So I've had the call about a car wreck. Yeah. My car wrecked. I need a new car. I need to get some money to buy a new car. And so, insurance, hopefully they're properly insured on the old car that was wrecked. That'll take care of some of it. And then we find out, okay, how much do you need? What's that gap that you need to fill? Yeah. And then we look for places to find it. What kind of accounts do they have? How's it titled? What's the taxes going to look like? Right. And just walk them through getting the money to take care of that.
And that'd be a choice of a car loan or pay cash, where to withdraw money, things like that.
Exactly. We're going to pay for it. It's just a matter of how are we going to pay for it? What's the smartest way to take care of it?
Well, how about a harder phone call where let's say someone passed away? And so in that initial phone call, what are kind of things you're looking to try to help them with?
So first off, especially if it's very, I'll call it fresh, it just happened. Yeah. Just find out, okay, what are the arrangements going to be? I want to know, what's going to happen. Right. And I'll let them know that we can get together and talk after that part is taken care of. Right now, worry about family, worry about grieving. Sure. In a week or two down the road, we can get together and we can start figuring out, beneficiary things, inheritance things, that kind of stuff. So don't feel pressure for that. We'll take care of the pressure part.
Yeah, the pressure part, and we can help fill out the forms and guide them through it all. And we also advise not to make major decisions in that whole first year. Don't make reactive decisions to something happening.
Right, because that's when we tend to make mistakes.
Yeah.
When we emotionally, right off the bat, a highly charged emotional situation, we make a rash decision, and it can end up being a mistake and cost us in the long term.
So the idea here in planning, you build your foundational planning, and the second thing is you got to plan for tomorrow, and then invest and live your retirement years as if you're going to live forever. Handling the worst things and getting things ready as if they might happen tomorrow is where we want to walk through the wills, the emergency fund. We're going to make sure you have power of attorneys, you have the right titling on your accounts, that you have the proper insurance. And once that's set up, I believe we're done for a while, and then we can go enjoy and not have to worry about the unexpected.
Right.
And then when unexpected and surprise comes, we come in and try to help that. And that's sort of how we build the surprise-proof retirement, is understanding there will be surprises. So handle that as if it might happen tomorrow, so we can go do everything else forever.
Right. So what's the worst thing that could happen tomorrow? I've got it covered. I'm ready for that. And then we start focusing on, and I hate to put it this way, but what's the worst thing that could happen long term? Yeah. And that would be outliving our money.
Absolutely. And that's inflation and the idea that you have to invest accordingly to make that money last a lifetime. Because we want that lifetime, no matter what that number is, We're not a milk bottle. We don't have an expiration date.
It rubbed off when we were born.
Thankfully, I would not want to know my expiration date. It's know what's in the future. At Acres Financial Group, everything we do is about you. Your retirement is as unique as your fingerprint. When you sit down with us, we start by taking a look at your financial fingerprint. Where is your money? How much do you have? How much are you earning? Then we talk about what you want your retirement to look like and to feel like. That's your retirement fingerprint. Perhaps you've been sold something, regardless of whether you needed it or not. Not at Acres Financial Group. With us, your retirement money follows your financial fingerprint. It's a retirement plan based on your unique fingerprint, and that determines where your money goes. It's not about us, it's about you. So give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule an in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-946-7384, or visit our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. Scroll down to the bottom of our homepage and schedule a meeting right there. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE or go to acresfinancialgroup.com. Do you need insurance or all insurance? We'll explain when we come back.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
I'm Brian Akers, and here with me today is Jeff Akers. We're both certified financial planner practitioners from Acres Financial Group. What that means is that we are financial advisors here to advise on retirement. Now, as a radio show, we want you to go talk to someone rather than just, he said on the radio, I'm doing it.
Oh, gosh.
Don't do that. The idea is, you listen to radio, you hear the ideas from advisors, things like that, and you say, well, how will that apply to me? And then we always offer a time to sit down and talk with you about your exact situation. Take advantage of that second opinion. Mm-hmm. That'd be something where we would enjoy meeting you and hearing your opinions of the show. And do you like Jeff jokes or Alex's jokes or Brian's jokes better?
Yeah, whoever's jokes. No. But when you're listening to this, just understand that we're giving broad information, but you need to sit down with us so we can understand how it applies to you. What we say might not work for you.
Well, the cool thing to do now is you listen to the show.
Yeah.
Then you go to our website, acresfinancialgroup.com.
Okay.
They look at some more shows, and then they say, there's a podcast, and then they start listening to the podcast every day.
Wow. That must be some young and,
No, it's people that drive.
People that drive,
people that commute, that people are listening. We highly recommend it. That we're available at most podcast situations. It's the whole show. We didn't shrink it down. You get the whole thing.
Yep.
Good and the bad and the ugly.
The whole kit and caboodle.
All right, this show today is surprise-proof retirement. Surprise-proof. So guess what? Things are going to happen in life that are unexpected. We got to plan for unexpected, but if you plan for it, is it really unexpected? It becomes expected.
Right. Surprise-proof doesn't mean you're not going to get the surprise. It just means that surprise isn't going to wipe you out.
Don't be too excited that the surprise came because you're ready.
Right.
Because some people are like that, though.
Yes.
You've seen preppers, and preppers
like,
I'm looking for that moment. I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Now, they're surprise-proof.
Yeah. And so, yes, we have some clients that are preppers. We have other clients doing other balancing of life.
Right.
Our concept is this. You must make sure you think about your future. Mm-hmm. Start with that.
Right.
Now, that's not a normal way for Americans to think. It's more about the next 2 minutes, the next 5 minutes, what we can do.
What can I do today to feel good?
The retirement is what we do for ourselves. It's not going to be provided by our companies, by the government, by anybody anymore. It's going to be provided by whatever you save. Same thing about surprise-proofing your retirement. Only you, with the help of a coach, a financial advisor, are going to be able to make sure things are good for you. So you can handle the things, so that you can relax and say, I don't have to worry about that. I can go enjoy my retirement.
So what's one of the big things we can do?
We can cover the third quarter topic, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
And that would be insurance.
Okay.
Or allsurance.
Allsurance, like A-L-L.
Yeah, all.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allsurance. So allsurance. So what's that, Jeff?
Well, allsurance, thanks, Brian. It's we'll use it as an acronym now. Some purposes, some reasons for insurance. A is for assets.
All right.
So it protects your assets.
All right.
So, you've got homeowners insurance in case your home burns down, you can build a new home.
Car insurance.
Car insurance, same kind of thing. Then there's liabilities.
That's the L.
That's the first L is liabilities. You pass away, who's going to cover your debts? You got to get those paid off. And then the last L is lifestyle.
Okay.
You're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. You'd kind of like to keep it if you became disabled, or if you passed away, your spouse would like to keep it. So you got to fund it somehow. If I'm working, making all the money in the family, and then for some reason I can't make that money for the family, well, what are they going to do to live, to maintain their lifestyle?
So the idea is using insurance to provide all assurance for life's changes and life's unexpected situations.
Right. Yeah, because surprises happen.
It sounds so simple, except for the idea is I don't want to be insurance poor. So what's your approach to someone that says, I don't want to be insurance poor, I just want to have some insurance?
Right. We need to figure out the need for insurance.
Sure.
And where I start, obviously the assets, homeowners and car insurance, those are requirements. You're going to have those. But then when we get into the life insurance, how much do you need and what do you want to cover? Do you just want to cover your debts and final expenses? Okay, that's one level. Then when we get into lifestyle and income replacement, that's where the numbers really go up. Yeah. And so then we start talking about, well, what can you afford with regard of protecting your lifestyle?
Yeah, when you say this topic, my first thought is police officers that come meet with me for planning. Mm-hmm. They come in, they're protecting us. Right. And then as financial planner, I want to make sure they're protected and their families protected.
Yep.
And I realize that the first time we meet with them, they don't have all these things checked off, all the right proper protection when it comes to the financial needs analysis, the survivorship calculations, all this stuff that comes up with the need for making sure they're okay if something did go wrong.
Right. And they're working in a job where things can go wrong. And
all of us can see the need in their job. The sad part is we all don't see the need in our job. But the reality is the likelihood of passing away is the same for everybody. We all pass away.
Well, sooner or later,
I'm sorry.
The death rate is 100% eventually.
We ain't getting out of there. We ain't getting out of here another way.
No, that's the way. But even driving to and from work, we think about that. And just things that happen throughout the day.
So when you say things like driving to work, I think about financial planning. In financial planning, I say to someone, well, have you ever had a car accident? Have you ever seen someone have a car accident? Do you know what kind of coverage you have? Now, good coverage is considered 100, 300.
Well, they're even bumping that up a little bit now with inflation, but yeah.
It's my story.
Okay, your story. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So 100, 300, what does that mean? 100 is per person, $100,000 per person, 300 per occurrence. That means if there's an accident and you get hit, or if you hit someone, they're going to cover 100,000, and that's
3 people up to 100,000.
Right. Now, if there's a terrible accident and shock trauma is involved, you're way over that limit very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine that we buy insurance to protect your other wealth, to protect your other savings, your money, everything you're trying to build. And that's what you need the insurance for. As your net worth rises, your liability coverage needs to rise with it.
That's right.
Now, imagine that an uninsured motorist hits you.
Oh.
Now, that coverage, uninsured motorist, is covering you and your family.
Right.
What coverage do you want if someone else hit you? And the answer is, you want the best coverage, right?
That's right.
Now, the reality is most people do not have the best coverage. They don't even know what umbrella insurance is. Right. We explain to them to go back to their insurance agent and ask for an umbrella and understand what that is and bump their limits up all the way up to $1 million.
Yep.
Or 2 or 5 or 10 or...
Depending on what you're protecting.
Or 25. The situation is all about protecting your assets.
That's right.
Your family, your lifestyle, your liabilities, all of that, through the way you select your insurance. Buying the insurance you need and knowing why you're buying it is the idea. So in planning, a simple thing is, do you have umbrella insurance? It's not insurance on your umbrella in case it breaks or bends in the wind.
That's funny. It's not insurance on
You
the
laughed
umbrella.
at my joke, Jeff. We're stopping for a pause for that.
$1 million for an umbrella. I want to see that umbrella.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can't make another joke with that.
So what's an umbrella over?
All right, so imagine that you have a car, you have your house, and you have umbrella insurance. It would have a liability limit that would and can cover over top the car limits and homeowner limits, bring the limits all the way up $1 million for the whole thing.
Right. So you're used to having car insurance, homeowners insurance, and you think of them as separate, but the umbrella puts both of those under one umbrella.
Many times you have to buy it through the same insurance company so they can then raise the limits on the base policy to $500,000, then cover the $1 million, and you have a policy coverage that might be a couple $100 a year for the extra once you add it all together. I'd rather have higher liability limits than having things like towing or rental coverage.
Right.
So how you buy insurance depends on what you're trying to protect. Imagine this whole concept is this. Buy the insurance you need as part of a good plan. Make sure you have it. Don't put it off.
Right. If you put it off when you need it, it's too late to get it.
How many people, they lose their job, they turn down COBRA, which is the health care through that employer, and they think they might say their comment to us is, oh, I lost my job a month or so ago. Oh, I didn't take the COBRA, too expensive. I'm going to get insurance when I get the next job. And we're like, you don't have any insurance right now?
Yeah. And what happens if you get sick now?
Right now. Yeah. And I would love to say that we're not going to get sick. We're going to make it through, and people probably do. The hardest part is, what are you risking when you do that? A couple $100 health care for the month or 2 months, $500, whatever it might cost through the ACA, versus not having coverage and being exposed to $500,000, $1 million?
Yeah. Yeah. So when someone comes in like that, I'll ask to see the letter from COBRA, because there is a time frame, and see if maybe they're not past that deadline so that we could sign up for it if we had to.
Yeah. So today we're talking about surprise proofing your retirement, where when someone calls our office, we try to have things prepared to handle that situation, and then we guide them through that situation. Mm-hmm. Guiding them through is, where's the money going to come from to pay the bills that have suddenly come up? That might be someone in your family. It might be you or your spouse. It might even be your parents, where you're trying to take care of them, and how to do it. We have a lot of different advice depending on situation. It's impossible to put it in a 1-hour show.
Right.
We broke it up to basic topics. This topic, third quarter, is about insurance and all the insurance you might need. Understanding that you have what you need, and that's it.
Right. And the one insurance that we haven't talked a lot about yet, but it's important, is disability, particularly if you're young. What if you're disabled and can't work?
When you get that job, check the box for long-term disability.
Yep.
Pay the $5, the $10, and then forget it.
It's worth
keep it. Every time you change jobs, get the disability insurance.
Whatever's offered, get it.
And the reason you get it is you never know. It's well worth it when it comes to your finances.
Yep.
All right, Jeff, you ready for this?
All right, we'll give it a try here.
All right, so let me see. All right, so you're going to meet a friend for lunch. You get there and you sit at a table. You see them walk in and they look like they just saw a ghost. And what do you say?
Oh, so you ask them, well, what happened?
Did you see what happened in the stock market this morning? I've lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I saw what happened. What do you want for lunch?
Lunch? How can you think about that? The market's going down.
Well, I have a retirement plan, and it's not just dependent on what happens on Wall Street. I'm surprise proof in my retirement. So what do you want for lunch?
Well, I'm not going to be the actor anymore. I got to be the solution now. All right. So so what you got to do is you call Acres Financial Group to be able to handle these emotions of the market, so you're not surprised by market changes, things like that. So go ahead and sit down with us so that you can thrive no matter what financial storms come ashore. Give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule a free meeting with us. And go check out our website, acresfinancialgroup.com. If you needed $10,000 this week, what would you do? We'll be answering this when we get back.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to the fourth quarter of Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, president and founder of Akers Financial Group, and here with me today is Jeff Akers. We are both certified financial planners here at Akers Financial Group. We are certified financial planners, which means that we are financial advisors. We have licensed as investment advisor representatives. We're also Series 7 stockbrokers, life and health license. I even have a property and casualty license. So very well versed and prepared to give comment.
Yeah, and it just hit me that you've been at this for 4 decades.
You never picked that up in the first quarter. I was glad.
Yeah, I was a little slow on the uptake.
The other way of putting it is it was like 2 centuries I worked in. I've also worked in 2 millennium.
2 millennium.
Based on the timing.
Yeah, boy, that 2 millennium, that one's tough.
Well, the weird thing is that officially I worked in 5 decades, but I didn't want to tell you that.
5 decades?
Yeah.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5. I'm short one.
That's awful.
Man.
All right, moving right to the show.
We need
Surprise proof retirement is what we're talking about. Guess what? Surprises will happen. Unexpected events will happen in life. We got to be ready for them by being financially ready, having our financial foundation in order, no matter what age you are. And especially as we're retired, because we don't want to go out and get a job to help recover that way. We don't want to drain the money that you need for retirement to fix the problem. We got to have things and be ready for it. All right, so the fourth quarter is winning time. That's when the games are won.
Right.
That's when you do the last second play for the win.
Yeah. Throw it to the corner. Get the 3-pointer.
I don't like a corner shot for the win the game. You know why?
Why?
There's no backboard. You ever see a lot of the shots bounce off the backboard and then to win the game? And it's like a heartbreaker, bank shot. You got to call that.
Oh, okay. So you like the bank shots?
Well, if you shoot from the front of the rim, your percentages will actually increase because the backboard helps.
Okay.
Shooting from the corner.
There's no backboard.
Everybody loves the corner shot, though. Moving right along. Sorry, basketball is a fun thing for me, but financial planning is the life.
That's right.
Surprise-proofing retirement is exactly what we're trying to talk about here. Financial planning and understanding surprise and understanding what we need to do when there is a surprise is very important. The fourth quarter, we have this question. It's called, if you needed $10,000 this week, what would you do? All right, Jeff, I need $10,000.
You need $10,000?
Yeah.
What you got in the bank?
Okay, so you'd start that way. You'd ask me what I got. So what are you calling me for, right?
Yeah, what you got?
Well, they're going to talk about situation. You might want to have a more touchy-feely answer to that, Jeff, first.
Yeah, well, I might want to know what's going on. You know, what's happened that you need $10,000 for.
Have you ever had anybody you had to say, somebody scamming you? Have you ever had that kind of conversation when they ask for money?
Thankfully, so far, people have called me and said, I think this is a scam. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And I've been able to say yes. As opposed to somebody saying, well, I already gave them $20,000. I just need 10 more.
Oh, if we get a phone call from somebody else in the family, then the red flags are flying.
Well, yeah. I ask them, do you have the power of attorney?
Sure. Absolutely. So the phone call comes in. They say, I need $10,000 this week. I had this going on. And then the plan, what would be the right way our plan would work?
So when we plan, we want to have that emergency fund. We want to have money in the bank that we can use. So I'm going to want to find out how much you have in your emergency fund. And, if they had the last time we met, maybe they've got $25,000 in the emergency fund. Like, okay, what you got left in the emergency fund? And if they say nothing, they don't have the $10,000, well, what happened?
Right.
What has happened since the last time we met?
The hard part was some people that are retired, they have all their money in IRAs. And so all the money is tax deferred and never been taxed before. So when they call for more, it could trigger more taxes and a bunch of other situations. So it's not as simple as I need $8,000 or $10,000. It's a matter of, you need 8, you need 11, take 11,760 out.
Right.
I did that calculation this morning. That's why it's in my head.
Just for fun.
But the 10,000, it's like 13,000 or so to be able to get the net.
Right.
And so the thinking of how much money you need and how to get it to you is very important. The ultimate answer in planning is let's plan and have multiple sources of money in your retirement years. Let's have a tax-free bucket. Yep. Let's have highly liquid, not pre-tax, but some like highly liquid, maybe investments, stocks, things like that we can get to if we need to. Have short-term money, laddered money that might be 6 months, a year out. have money invested that you can get to whenever you need it, and have all the buckets have money, not just the retirement bucket.
Right. And a lot of times, like you said, that's the big bucket, and then we gotta pay taxes to take it out. But if it's in an investment where you're buying stocks or mutual funds or things like that, then it's not like the bank where you just go stick your card in the ATM machine and pull cash out. You've got to actually sell something, and it takes a couple of days for those transactions to settle before they'll even send you the cash, the check, or make the direct deposit for you. So when someone says, I need it this week, then we're looking for alternatives to do it as quickly as possible. And it could be that, okay, you're going to have to do this through a loan or something, and then we're going to send you the money to take care of that. You know, some folks might have a credit card that they could use for this that they don't carry a balance on. Go ahead and get the points, and we'll send you the money to pay off the credit card, because that gives us an extra month. We have a little float to take care of that. So the type of investment that money is invested in is going to help determine, what are we going to do to meet this need.
Now, when I'm thinking about what you just said, I think about people got to know themselves. So some people spend whatever money they see in their account. It's just that their habit is, I got $5. What can I buy? It's sort of normal American thoughts. Like you get advertisements and all these things pop up everywhere. I want that. You start saying that, and then what happens is you spend money. So to be able to have money later or a balance of money to go to, it's wise to have it invested somewhere else. To take it out of your regular bank and put it somewhere else.
Right. An arm's length away, somewhere that you've got to do something to get it to where you can actually spend it.
As an example would be, I'm sorry, I was trying to think of this one example, but I don't want to say too much detail because if they're listening, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They're worth like $5 million. They've saved a lot of money. Yeah. But they always seem to call for something. It's always something beyond their normal.
They always need something.
And it's unusual. I mean, every story is a different story, but they need a little bit more. And then what happens at the end of the year, I said, well, we bumped another tax bracket because of all the requests that totaled up during the year. I didn't really want that to happen. I said, well, can we plan ahead for next year? Right. And we can't quite get there because if I fill up the money market, it disappears very fast, and then you have to come again. So having them on a tight budget has been good. Thankfully, there's enough money saved to meet their needs. But how do you call it? What do you say? It's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
So that was more spending than surprises. The show is about surprise proofing. So the surprise proofing is where something major happens in your life. Let's think about it happens to you. You're sick. Right. And you have to take care of different things, and you're going to need help, and that's going to cost money, and you have to basically realign your future goals. That's just a hard, total change in a financial plan.
It is hard, and that kind of thing is why we want to have that emergency fund, because you need time to work through what you're going to do.
Sure.
And so the emergency fund is going to take care of you while you're making those new plans, making the adjustments.
Now, this has happened many times with people's parents. They'll come in and say, well, I'm going to pay the bill for now, and then we'll figure out my parents' money later. And I'm like, well, we need to use the parents' monies first, not yours. I need to take care of your parents. It's the hardest job there is, I think, is caregiving. But you need to have that money and a balanced approach to this to make sure you're able to provide the level of care that you need, if it's at home or at a facility or wherever it might be, and lining up that money for the next 6 months to a year or longer and knowing where it's going to come from so you can have an overall plan for their finances and your own.
Right. So having that plan in place, what are you going to do when the surprise comes up? That's paramount. That's important in what we're trying to accomplish.
Imagine if you don't save money throughout your life and build it up, you'll not have choices in the retirement when you have a surprise in your retirement. It's going to be a choice of further debt, go get a job, spend the only money you have to live off of, which means you have to live off of less to the future. These are all scenarios you don't want. So save now, balance your investments. Don't save all for retirement. Balance it in short, medium, and long-term buckets, and really establish this money to meet all the goals that you have.
Right, and have those things we talked about in the first quarter, the insurances, make sure they're in place, ready to take care of things. Make sure you've got the legal documents in place, so if something happens, somebody else can take care of you if you need that.
And you got to cover the insurance properly, make sure that you're working that out. And if you had a situation where you needed $10,000, where would you get it from? Do you really have that ready yet?
Right, and ideally, I hope that my clients would say, I've got that in the bank.
Well, or if someplace, invest it.
Or someplace.
Now, so the idea here is winning in retirement takes everything. You have to win even in the toughest times. You got to be ready for the surprises of life. A surprise-proof retirement has been our topic for today. You can check it out on acresfinancialgroup.com, our website. Click on the radio tab, check out the show right there, or go straight to the podcast to listen to it again to see if you like my jokes or Jeff's better. All right, today's show has been Surprise-Proof Retirement, brought to you by Winning in Retirement. And we want to thank you, Jeff. Very good job today.
Oh, yeah, good times.
Appreciate it. We want all of you to win in retirement by taking advantage of the opportunity to begin planning with us at Acres Financial Group. To schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the schedule meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's acresfinancialgroup.com, or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Start planning for your retirement now. Go ahead and give us a call at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Arcadios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Arcadios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Arcadios do not share any common ownership. Neither Arcadios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.